A month ago, we visited VENTUNO, the flagship restaurant of the Ramzy Group. There we met today's guest, Ramez Ramzy. Ramez is a prominent Dutch hospitality and real estate entrepreneur and the CEO of Ramzy Group, a family-owned business based in Amsterdam. Today we talk about his journey, profitability, and his approach to leadership. Welcome, Ramez.
Thank you.
Can you tell us how you got into the hospitality industry in the first place?
Yeah, so our company was founded now almost 33 years ago. So next year it's going to be 33 years that the Ramzy Group is in existence. It was founded by my father. He started as a small entrepreneur, of course. He came from Egypt together with my mother. He was actually an accountant. He studied accountancy in Egypt. And when he arrived in the Netherlands, he studied accountancy again, but then in Dutch. And he noticed that working in a company is not going to make him reach the goals that he has set for himself, which is why he chose for entrepreneurship. And in terms of accessibility, also with the language barrier, the hospitality business was the most at hand business to get into. So it was not necessarily out of passion for hospitality. It was more out of opportunism. So he started with a snack bar, selling fries and fried snacks.
Very Dutch thing.
Yeah, a very Dutch thing indeed. And it was located in the Amstelstraat, which is a side street of a very famous, or the most famous square in the center of Amsterdam, Rembrandt Square. Back then, it was located right in front of Club It, which was the most prominent nightclub back then in Amsterdam. It doesn't exist anymore now, but for my father chose that location specifically because of the traffic that it generates at night. And he worked there for 7 days a week by himself, did everything from administration, salaries, working on the floor, purchasing, cost control, HR. He was the whole operation, one man show. Oh. And that's how it actually started for him. In 2012, I joined the company on management level. By then, he had already established 10 restaurants. His model was taking over loss-leading companies, loss-leading cafes and restaurants, and refurbishing them into a concept that suits the right target audience, which for Amsterdam Center was the tourists, not the locals. So he had two concepts that he developed for that target audience. One was an Argentinian grill restaurant, and the other was an Italian pizzeria. And that's how he expanded from the years 1993 till 2012, where, like I just mentioned, he had already opened 10 restaurants. I started managing one of them. Before that, I was working at my father's company since I was 11 years old, started in the summer, every summer as a summer job. First as a dishwasher, then as a waiter, then in the kitchen, behind the grill, learning actually everything, all the ins and outs of operating a restaurant. And I didn't start necessarily with a passion for hospitality, but what I saw is that my father, as an entrepreneur, gained a lot of respect in the community. And financially was doing really well, from starting at rock bottom, basically coming to the Netherlands with the clothes on their back, to having a six-figure income every year, which was something I was very proud of, and at the same time made him, for me, in business sense also, apart from just a private sense, role model, which is why I decided to pursue that career path of joining into the Ramzy Group family company in 2012 on the management level. And in 2014, we opened, my father and I, on the Rembrandt Square, a hotel called the Royal Amsterdam Hotel. It's a 4-star hotel with a restaurant on the ground floor. It's a boutique hotel with 23 rooms. there I really learned the ins and outs of setting up a new business as well, including the whole part of construction, purchasing, sourcing, management of construction. I gained a lot of experience in that project, and also a lot of passion for the field of hospitality and setting up new restaurants. So from there on, I took on with my father to open another 10 restaurants. So in 2020, we had 20 venues in Amsterdam that we were operating ourselves. And in the meanwhile, we also started investing in our real estate portfolio, both commercial and residential buildings. Not only to operate in ourselves, but also to lease to other operators. And in 2020, I remember exactly in the Netherlands when COVID arrived, and the lockdown started from the 15th of March of 2020.
It says enough if you remember the date.
Yes, because there were very specific dates tied to that period.
Yeah.
So my father, I was busy with purchasing a new restaurant, which was fairly high priced. And in December, the first cases, I think, of Corona started in the Netherlands. And my father told me, when I was busy with that deal, he told me, wait a second, because your whole business model and return on investment and how you budgeted it is going to be affected by this virus. So
he already predicted that the virus was going to shut down.
well, I don't think he predicted it at this scale.
No.
Or I don't think he foresaw it at this scale. I think nobody could really have foreseen it at this scale, but he was very sharp to see that it would have an impact on travel.
Gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's what he had.
Indeed, a gut feeling. And he told me, hold on with that deal. Don't sign it yet, because we were actually just like weeks before signing it and transfer of ownership. And it's not our style to back out of a deal, but I spoke with the party that was selling this restaurant and explained to them my concerns, and that I hope that they understood this situation, which they did. I ended up not buying this restaurant at all at the end, but would I have bought it back then for that price? I think it would have lost half of its value in a few months after.
Yeah. One of the first big decisions was one to actually back out, and it was a good one.
Yes,
basically.
Yes.
And I think that's also important, right? To not be proud, or to be not be proud enough to step away from it, because that is the wise decision.
Of course, and at the same time, it was so we backed out of that deal, but new opportunities arose very quickly. And between 2020, 15th of March 2020, and by half of 2023, we had opened another 15 venues, so we were operating 35 venues. So Corona also brought a lot of opportunities to obtain businesses in locations which won't usually become vacant or that often, or would be sold for
cheaper prices, or
now we were able to obtain them for much cheaper prices than a year before in 2019 what the prices were. So because of that, I was able to expand quite rapidly and also invest in branding, etc.
Let's get back to that part later, actually.
Yeah.
But before we do, you took over the family business from your father around 3 years ago, right?
During the lockdown in 2020.
So 5 years ago.
Yeah,
basically.
My father became very sick with COVID, and at that point he realized that he's worked hard and long enough.
Yeah.
And I remember he called me into the hospital and told me, when I'm out here, I want to talk to you. Everything's going to change, and you're going to be taking over, and we'll talk about it as soon as
How did that
I'm out
make
here.
you feel, taking over, getting that message from him?
Yeah, it felt on one side it felt right, because indeed my father has worked long and hard and built a very good foundation for us to continue building on. He really set the cornerstones of the Ramzy Group to expand and be able to have these ambitions that we have now. So I felt that it was the right time for him to start enjoying his life. At the same time, I felt that it's in a very critical period where I'm taking over everything. And in 2020, I was 27 years old. So
A lot of responsibility on your shoulders at that moment.
yeah, I was always used to having a lot of responsibility, but now basically the whole company, the responsibility for the whole company was on my shoulders, and that was new for me. And so it was at the same time, I never back out of a challenge. I like to get challenged and push myself to the next level. So I embraced this opportunity and this challenge, and I'm happy I did so. I learned a lot over this course of those 5 years. I think more than in the 10 years before that.
That's also the right approach, right? Like just diving in. And since you took over, you've also been actively changing and renewing the way you guys operate, right? Like you
Indeed.
mentioned about the concepts you did back then or what your father
Yeah.
built the company on, and you've been changing them around. Can you elaborate on why you decided to do this?
Yeah. So my father built all this kind of in the shadows, like silent, which was a very good strategy. And also, I think if it's not necessary to be present and visible in the media, then why do it? But for the goals and ambitions that I had for myself, but also for the company as a whole, I saw that this exposure would facilitate a faster pace of growth, open doors, and build credibility and presence in the Netherlands and even internationally, which is when I started really diving into concept-driven hospitality, but also branding, both branding of our company, the Ramzy Group as a whole, but also each individual location where we've invested in a very specific and special concept to brand that very well and give it the right level of exposure. Because what I've also noticed during COVID is that people became much more picky at where they spend their money in terms of hospitality, and even more so now after COVID, I've noticed. So this level of distinguishing yourself needs to be much higher than it was in the past. Of course, during the internet age, the necessity of being able to distinguish yourself became more clear and more necessary.
What sort of specific things did you do in the branding aspect?
So focusing on a specific community and designing a concept that tells a story and where people can relate to on a community level. So to give an example, one of the concepts we developed was the Greek Embassy. The Greek Embassy is a Greek coffee place, specialty coffee bar, and a Greek restaurant at the same time. We really focused on the community there, so all the staff that works there is actually Greek.
That's always a sign I look for when I go to, like, let's say a Greek restaurant. Is in general, if they have Greek people in the kitchen, means good.
Yeah, I think it's the same for every type of kitchen which is based on a specific nationality.
100%.
So the same thing is with Italian, even though in Amsterdam you'll see that all the Italian restaurants are operated by Egyptians.
We're sitting here with one of them.
Indeed. However, this is like for tourists acceptable, but locals and regular guests, if you want to build a regular guest base, you need to have this level of authenticity as well, which comes with bringing in the actual culture. And that's what we did there. We brought in a big team of Greek nationals, and they also brought the whole Greek community in Amsterdam to that place. And the whole story of the Greek Embassy is based on this coffee culture It started off as a concept that's based off the coffee culture in Greece. So there's some special coffees that we serve there. So like the Alfredo cappuccino, which is a cold cappuccino actually, and the way that the coffee is brewed is makes it a lot stronger than what we are used to. But that's actually speaking to their community and giving them the product that they're used to have at home. The same goes for the design of the venue. We chose for a more contemporary design, more modern. Than the standard Greek places with blue prints
I
and
know exactly what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
but everyone
They're
listening will also
always
just
like that.
see it in front of them,
Yeah.
right? Like,
So that's actually part of the reason we did that is because we've also noticed that simplicity has become much more favorable, I guess, than the over the top design and trying to fake it actually with materials instead of the actual core of the operation.
I think it's because the minimalism kind of puts emphasis on the product you're serving instead of the surroundings and trying
indeed.
to
Yes, it
convince
creates
someone.
this feeling of authenticity because you're not trying to distract the
Yeah, exactly,
attention to the visuals, but actually towards the feeling. So we also invested in marketing, of course, and in the brand story. We created a brand book and a concept development document. And the concept development document basically is the blueprint of how and why we do things at the Greek embassy the way we do. So with that document, you're able to expand to several locations and keep that same story and that same way of serving our guests alive and consistent.
without having to go in too much detail, could you describe a few things that are in that document? Like,
So
just topic-wise.
one of the very important things is the guest journey. It's very important that you map out the guest journey from start to finish. And with start, I mean the moment actually that they hear about your place and they go onto your socials or your website, or how they experience that, what their first feelings are, and how you get across what you're actually selling. And giving them the ease to make a reservation, to find all the information that they're actually looking for, and feel this hospitality already in the way that they're approached on the website, etc. And of course, when they reach out to the hosts or actually make a reservation, then the following up and confirming that reservation, and giving them more information of what they can expect when they arrive, inquiring about special needs, or whether it's a special event that they're coming from, a birthday or another kind of celebration. That's where the guest journey actually already starts. And then once they're at the location, you need to have a sequence of how you keep the guest entertained and at the same time give him an experience of real hospitality, feeling welcome, feeling seen, and that happens by, for example, the way you receive them in the beginning. There's specific scripts that we write out of how to receive the guests. What is the first sequence of service? So first we offer them, for example, a glass of water. And then we give them the menus and ask them for the drinks, because in the Netherlands people find it very important to receive tap water. So in some locations you can make the decision to not serve tap water because you're not focused on the regular guests, and the revenue, of course, is very important. And in other places, you need to make that decision to serve tap water instead and skip out on the water revenue that you would usually generate to retain those guests for long term. That's one of the small components, of course. It's not just that, but it's one of the components of giving them that feeling. So the guest journey is a very important thing, but also it also maps out how to explain to your staff members what the concept actually is, so that so for example, the Greek embassy is a shared dining concept. It's very important that this is explained at the table, and that the staff they understand how to explain this and why it's a shared dining concept and what that actually entails, so that you avoid any surprises and people know what they're coming for. There's a lot of details in that concept document, but also like design wise, etc. And then you have complementing that document the brand book, where the actual brand story and the values of the specific company are written out in a way that is comprehensible for staff members, marketing team, for sales, for your guests, actually, for all your exposure. It's just by reading the brand book, you should understand the full scope of of this company and its values and what it stands for.
But do you go into this amount of detail with every single location?
No, it's a lot of investment to go into this amount of detail. There needs to be a strategy behind it. Why are you actually doing this? So it could be that you want to invest this in a standalone restaurant. However, I don't think to that investing in at a certain level, up to a certain extent, in a standalone restaurant, unless it's a very big restaurant with a lot of capacity, makes sense financially necessarily.
Can you talk us through the process you went through with VENTUNO, perhaps, because
Yeah.
that fits that a little
Indeed.
bit more. The place where we visited you actually to prepare today's conversation.
Yeah.
For the people listening, a very big sky lounge, like restaurant slash bar in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Did you go through the same type of process there, or?
Actually more in depth, even, since the Greek embassy was a restaurant that started, which was maybe in total 100 seats, and we had the plan to expand, so that's why we started investing in it like that. VENTUNO on its own is a sky lounge. It's the highest located sky lounge in the Netherlands, 78 meters high in Amsterdam, with amazing views over the city, and it's 500 square meters in surface area, so it's quite big, and we can seat 200 people for dinner simultaneously for regular reservations, and for group events, 250 people seated dinner. We host parties and company events, brand launches, product launches, etc. for up to 400 people standing.
You basically have the entire top floor of the building, right?
Indeed.
Like the view is insane.
Yeah, and we invested a lot there indeed as well in the concept development and branding. We did that much more elaborate, but that's also because it's a different target audience. It's catering to a different segment. It's a luxury segment. So VENTUNO is up there with the top restaurants of the Netherlands, actually, and that entails a lot more operations in order to be able to give that level of service, but also to distinguish yourself in that market. You need to really have an elaborate strategy and idea of how to obtain the guests' attention, and be able to have the right level of guest retention to be able to generate enough revenue throughout the lifespan of this company. So design-wise, also, it's much more elaborate. All the materials are natural materials, so natural stone like marble. All the wood is natural wood of all very high quality, and the design is something that is not really seen in the Netherlands before. Which was also the idea with VENTUNO, and why it took more effort and energy to develop a concept document and brand book, since it's really a one of a kind restaurant. The Greek embassy, in that way, is of course unique in its own way. However, there's a lot of Greek restaurants in the Netherlands where maybe they can get across the same feeling in some way. At the end, it's a middle segment Greek restaurant, but VENTUNO is really unique concept where also entertainment is incorporated in the daily operations, and sales is a very prominent component department in VENTUNO, since I think at the moment around a quarter of our revenue comes through events.
Oh.
And we want to increase that actually to 50%, since events are much more profitable than regular reservations because of the predictability of the operation.
I'd like to know, when you do all this effort into the brand book and everything, how do you get your staff to buy into it as well? How do you ensure they're up to the same standards as you want?
Yeah, so for these specific companies, I work together with a company from Dubai, and bringing in that external influence already makes it more interesting for staff and guests. But to make sure to get across this message to the staff members, it starts all with recruitment, hire fast, fire fast. So in the past, I've learned that people always deserve a second chance as long as there's willingness, dedication, and motivation. However, when one of those is lacking, then we're very quick to also end the collaboration, and that makes that this filter is constantly on in the team, and at the end you're left with a team. After a year of operating, you're left with a team that where each member is really dedicated to the cause and motivated to perform, is a reliable team member and wants to get the most out of it, and in order to get them enthusiastic about your company and about your goals and your needs, you need to also be involved in their goals and their wants and needs. So I think it's a give and take situation where there's a balance, where at least both parties know what to expect from each other, and what they can count on. So motivation, dedication, and discipline. They can expect that from us as employers, but we expect that from each team member as well. And there you have the foundation to be able to get necessary information across and make it stick as well, because they want to perform. So I think that's the key, and also repetition, a good onboarding process, because of course you're gonna have people leaving as well, and or being replaced, and these new people need to be up to par, just like the rest of the team. So we work with a very elaborate onboarding system, and onboarding procedure actually. Where somebody is appointed as the onboarding manager alongside other duties, but that person is trained intensively of how to do this whole onboarding process with a staff member. That's where they get this
So
explanation.
you actually prefer a human onboarding process? I know there's a lot of companies that focus a lot on like just getting it digitalized,
Yeah.
read this handbook and
I
see this video
I
and then
like to
you're-
automate. I like everything automated, of
Mhm.
course, and from a business perspective, this makes a lot of sense. However, I do think there should be a distinction between the processes that you automate, which are just repetitive tasks and handlings. Of course, you wouldn't want the same. You wouldn't want a person to have to explain constantly how to use the POS system, for
Of
example.
course, yeah.
But for the things that are that need the human touch, that really need this sense of hospitality, I think a human onboarding process is key.
So you're kind of just going for a mixture of both.
Indeed. So all the documents and all the onboarding information that you're receiving from this person, you'll also receive digitally to be able to refer to. You'll also receive it before your first day of onboarding, actually. So you can already get up to par before you start your first day. but explaining it in person really gets the message, the narrative across much better than just handing out documents, checking off whether they received and read it or not. And so I think a mixture, balance there is key.
So how involved are you now in the daily operations, like recruiting, staff meetings, and those types of things?
It depends on the level where the specific venue is at. So, a venue that's been established a long time ago, which is already operating in a systemized and standardized way, I need to be involved a lot less with the actual recruitment and the actual interaction with the staff members. I do make sure to know all the names of the staff members we work with, and to check in, like whenever I'm in that at that venue, to check in with people that work there, how they're doing, etc. So they also get a sense of feeling with the top level management.
Sorry to interrupt in between. How many people are you at the moment?
At the moment, we're around 450 people.
Impressive, though.
Yeah.
That's why I just wanted to put that in. I just like
It's just about only hiring people with the
So
same name, like
we got
Peter. Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Peter.
we have 25 Peters.
Yeah.
But sorry, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, so indeed, memorizing those names nowadays it comes naturally. Back then, I really had to put in the effort, but nowadays it comes naturally to remember the people's names. However, with those places, I'm much less involved with the actual in detail operations. So I have a monthly meeting with the management of that location. At the Ramzy Group, we were able to expand the way we did by including business partners in each, or including a business partner in each venue for the daily operation, running the show actually in the front of the house. And we take care of everything else other than generating revenue, happy staff members, and happy guests. That's and cost control. That's all the things the local manager of each venue needs to focus on. Everything else from legal to HR, we to financial administration. We at Ramzy Group at the back office take care of that. So that they can focus on what they're good at. But with a new venue, such as VENTUNO, especially one that has so many moving parts, where the investment is relatively big compared to a smaller restaurant. So it's more critical. The success is even more critical. I'm very involved with the every detail in the beginning. I don't micromanage. So for each department, there's a head of that department, which is actually the person I mainly communicate with. However, for the first 2 years now with VENTUNO, I'm involved in the development of the training program, overseeing that the trainings are provided timely and adequately, that procedures are standardized. And also in terms of recruitment, that especially again for a place like VENTUNO, where you cater to the absolute high-end market and you ask quite a price tag, you put quite a price tag on that experience at VENTUNO, you need to be able to also meet that promise that you give to give an unforgettable night. And in order to do so, you need to have an impeccable team. So there, I'm very much involved with the recruitment, and with key positions, I do the interviews myself. So the sales director, the restaurant manager, the bar manager, the head host, everything. Those
For
I
the
recruit
restaurant
myself.
manager, the one that gets a business position in the company or in that specific venue, do you find them internally, or can anyone kind of come to the Ramzy Group and say, hey, I want to be a part of something bigger? I
Yeah,
feel like
anyone in the beginning we found them internally.
Mm.
Not just internally, somebody that was already working in one of our venues, but internally from the network of people that we know.
Yeah.
So it could be somebody that was successfully operating a restaurant or a restaurant group for another entrepreneur, and was looking for a new adventure and saw at the Ramzy Group that there's an opportunity. It could also indeed be like, for example, what happened with the Greek embassy is my business partner there for the operations is Thanos. Thanos started working with me in one of our Italian restaurants in the city center called Burrata when I just opened it. He was 19 years old back then and studying in the Netherlands. And I saw that he was a very passionate, ambitious, and dedicated and motivated person. Very respectful, seemed trustworthy, and over a course of 2 years or 3 years, showed consistency in his behavior and consistency in the motivation and dedication. And in there, I decided to actually take him under my wing and give him personalized coaching sessions, guidance, till the point where he actually himself came up with the idea of the Greek embassy.
Oh wow,
He was the one that actually did the whole concept development.
that's nice. Nice little mentor-mentee story right there.
Indeed. So I was able to give him the tools to make it to increase the chances of success. So by working with the right people to develop this concept at the end, but at the end it was it is his idea, and he's the one running the show over there. So that's how we actually recruited him. Actually, internally, somebody that wasn't experienced in hospitality at all, who is now running 3 venues of the Greek embassy himself, and generating with those 3 venues over around 3.5 million euros of revenue every year in total. And he's now, I think, 24 years old.
What an amazing story.
Yeah,
just
so
in
it's very
general.
nice to grow together like that. And my business partner at VENTUNO actually is the CFO also of the Ramzy Group, Sunke Lil, who I grew up with since I was 8 years old. We both were relocated to a different city in the Netherlands and met each other in primary school. And I saw, so there we have a different partnership, because actually with VENTUNO I'm with the management team running the show. I'm responsible for making sure that we generate revenue, cost is controlled, and the team members are satisfied and the guests are satisfied. And Sunke is running the whole back office, like he's doing at the Ramzy Group. He's doing that specifically for VENTUNO as well. And that's a different kind of collaboration again, because Sunke is German, so very punctual and very good with numbers.
Our own German.
Yeah,
And they are indeed
Punctuality is amazing.
especially on the CFO position.
It's the right place to have
I
one,
don't
right?
consider myself not punctual, but I wouldn't. I don't think I would be able to do Sunke's job as well as he does it. Yeah, that's also. And again internally, but we've also had people coming externally. Indeed, like you said, they're looking for an opportunity. They inquire at the Ramzy Group whether there's a position available with a possibility to grow in terms of management level, and maybe even one day establish a new restaurant together. So we're also open for that, but it takes time to build a trust relationship, and that's the most important thing: the trust and loyalty, vice versa.
You just mentioned a bit about numbers in general. When we visited you at VENTUNO, you actually mentioned something, maybe a bit different than people would usually be honest about. But you mentioned that you made a deliberate decision to scale down in terms of sizes. You went from about 700 to today 450 employees.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through that decision?
Yeah. So in 2020, like I said, we started exponential growth. So within 2 years or so, 3 years, we opened 15 more locations, and a lot of things happened there. Some of them internally, some of them externally, some micro changes on a local level economically and some macro changes. As we know, not just COVID has had an impact on the economy, but also the wars, etc., have disturbed supply chains, have disturbed travel capabilities, and what actually happened after 2023, so starting 2024, is that all the revenues of the hospitality businesses in the Netherlands started decreasing significantly. And maybe even especially so in the center of Amsterdam, where this was actually always considered the safe haven for economic recessions, to be able to still keep your head above water because of the constant flow of tourists. Even if it would be a bit less, you would still be able to make a profit because we were always doing 30% profit margins across the board in all our restaurants in the center. And then all of a sudden that decreased. And at the same time, because of that exponential growth we made, there were a lot of bottlenecks within the organization, and
Like on a culture perspective, or
on a culture and deeds perspective. So implementing this automated back office turned out to be a lot more complicated, and a lot more work than I had anticipated, because it was my idea to modernize the way we do things at the Ramzy Group in terms of automation, and we did a lot of investments to get there. However, we did too much at the same time, and the company culture was not there yet to embrace these tools and use them in a consistent and correct way for all procedures. So throughout the years, every year, the team is gaining more experience and growing as a person, but growing as a team as well, and how to use these tools and understanding why processes need to be automated, which processes can be automated, and how. So it makes life easier now. But back then, it wasn't like that yet. My father, until I took over, was doing everything still with paper and pen, let's say. And for him, this worked really well. But he was running a department of which should be 10 people by himself, which was not a way to go for me.
he was the machine.
He was the machine,
He
indeed.
was the automation.
Indeed, which is also something I've always warned him for, that in case anything he would not be available in this position, we would have a huge issue because I wouldn't be able to do it the same way he does it. So timely. Fortunately, timely, my father decided that, okay, he gave me the go-ahead in 2018 to start modernizing, but it wasn't there yet to operate 35 locations with such rapid growth in a short time as well, with 750 employees we had in 2023. So in 2024, in the beginning of 2024, when in Q1 saw the revenues decreasing, and also really got a full scope, better picture of what went wrong in our organization during this period of rapid growth, I decided to downscale and sell around 15 of our places again. Not necessarily the new ones, not the 15 new ones, but actually the ones that were the least unique in terms of locations. So there's some locations that we have that you won't come across very easily again, such as a hotel on Rembrandt Square. It's very hard to obtain. There hasn't been a hotel in Rembrandt Square sold since we've opened our hotel. So that's now more than 10 years, almost 12 years ago. There's not have been another transaction of hotels there. So those kind of locations I didn't sell, but the ones that I knew that I could still sell for a good price, make a profit on even, and if the opportunity is there, like if we would like in the future, we could obtain a similar location in the same.
Is it the concept of the restaurant or the location you sold, or is it the whole real estate?
No, so
acquisition?
we did sell also real estate, but so also only some residential real estate that was more because of the increase of legislation and taxing on those properties. But the real estate, we kept all the real estate that we have. I'm gonna go into that a bit in a bit as well, because that's a whole different strategy approach that we
It's next
um,
on the board, actually.
it's next on the board, all right. Now, so we sold the business that is located in these buildings. So basically, you sell the lease agreement and you
Yeah.
sell the equipment and everything that's in there.
You
Uh,
basically keep earning money on those places still through the leases.
Well, that's for the. There's indeed in this shift of strategy that we went into in Q1 of 2024, where we sold around 15 places. We decided to reinvest those funds in. One of the things we decided to reinvest in is commercial real estate, specifically hospitality real estate in Amsterdam. And even more so, even more specific, trying to obtain the buildings where we ourselves leasing this venue in. So we were able to buy a few of those buildings from the landlord, some by coincidence in that time, and some by just making a good offer. And the idea is that instead of paying rent, you're paying interest and you're paying part of the sum of the money that you borrowed from the bank, for example,
Yeah, the mortgage.
the mortgage. So what we do usually is we when we buy a building, we bring in 50% equity, somewhere between 30 and 60% equity, depending on the specific case, and the rest we finance from the bank. And at the end, the monthly cost is lower than the rent, and it also the interest is lost to the bank, of course, but whatever you are paying off from the principal amount is money you're in your pocket, plus you earn on the increase of the value of the building. But it doesn't end there, because there's also some of the venues where I sold the business. I had actually just before that bought that building and sold the business to a different operator. But we at Ramzy Group have several deals for purchasing, like purchasing agreements with, for example, a brewery. Swinkels Family Brewery is one of them. This family that owns, for example, for among others, the brand Bavaria. Uh, and they are the largest privately owned family company still in the world that didn't go to the stock exchange basically. We made a deal with them a few years ago where we would sell their beer exclusively on tap in all our venues, and but also we did agree with them that if we would ever sell a venue, then that specific venue would be released from that agreement. But if what we did is, with all those deals that we had for purchasing, whether it's food products where we have a group wide deal, or any type of service that we get, you can even do this, for example, with your energy supplier, your garbage disposal partner. So what we did is made long-term agreements with them and laid those agreements into the rental agreement with the tenant, which actually causes a win-win-win situation. So what we do, we charge a slightly less high renting price according to what the market price is. Instead of that, you have to buy specific products from specific suppliers. But because we buy everything in bulk as a group, you also benefit from the from the discount.
Mhm.
So you as a sole entrepreneur, or maybe if you have 2-3 locations, would never be able to obtain these prices. So with Swinkels, we have an agreement that we should always have the lowest beer price in hospitality in the Netherlands. So nobody can get under our price actually. So whoever we're renting to also benefits from that. We just put a specific margin on top of that, which still makes it a lot cheaper for them than buying it themselves. But we earn on that as well. And there you can also get sponsorship deals where, for example, the partner, whether it's a brewery or food company that you work with, sponsors your marketing program, sponsors uniforms, sponsors equipment. You can think of all kinds of different creative deals where you can benefit in a different way from just operating the restaurant or just leasing commercial space to a different operator. So this was actually a bit of a game changer for us. So at the moment we're at 20 venues or 21 venues still. Currently we're not looking to expand operational businesses. The only brand that we are looking to expand internationally is VENTUNO.
Which country would you like to go to?
It would be an Arabic country. The reason why is because we have a big network in the Arab world.
It also fits the concept, I would say.
It
after
does
being
fit the
there.
concept, but going back to what actually caused this whole recession that I would call the recession that we are still in, and especially for the hospitality branch, is because of a shift of capital markets. Actually, in the Arab world is actually a much more secure place now to be investing in than Europe. Also, in terms of legislation, Europe has shut itself down with all the legislation and taxing, where in the Arab world, the entrepreneurship is stimulated, and the government actually invests in growing this segment. So that makes it also very interesting, and indeed, this concept suits the Arab world very well. Very well.
Remember when we were in Dubai? That's
Mm.
just like we were in some of those
Yeah, it was
sky
just-
restaurants, and that's if
Yeah.
you would just imagine that and think a lot of red,
Yeah.
then you're looking at Ventuno.
Yeah.
Like it was super amazing because you don't see those things in the Netherlands or
Indeed.
like in Denmark, and it's nice to have, like, I guess the word is extravaganza, to see that.
Indeed.
You hear it here first.
Extravagant luxury,
Yeah.
indeed, and that's actually one of the things that Ventuno is characterized by locals. It's been called also in the media many times un-Dutch.
Yeah, but I think
So
it's
people
a perfect
associate
description.
it with Dubai, with Paris, with London, with New York. Even though initially my idea was bringing 1920s, roaring 20s, New York, Italo-Americano style restaurant to the Netherlands with entertainment. It turned out to have also influences from Paris, London, and Dubai. Which it also contributes to it being very viable for the Arab world. So Morocco is one of the countries that we're looking at. Egypt, since we have Egyptian
Going
roots,
back to
and
the
we
roots.
have indeed also quite a real estate portfolio in Egypt as well, and a very big network. And we still understand the culture, we understand the market there better than, for example, even the UK, even though the UK is next door.
Yeah, but a nice
So-
coming home story as well, right? To go
Yeah.
full circle that way.
Yeah.
We're slowly running out of time, but I think a nice way to wrap it up is you've been given a lot of advice here. You also provide consultancy services yourself to hospitality businesses, either being in the Netherlands or seeking to go to the Netherlands.
Yes.
Perhaps we can wrap it up with a short introduction to what you do. Should anyone listening be interested in that?
Yeah. So Ramzy Group has been doing consultancy actually for quite some time now. A lot of things we did pro bono, myself as well, just helping out people and at the same time gaining experience from their problems, but I always treated their problems as if they were my own, but this gave me the opportunity to experience all kinds of different challenges and hurdles, and to overcome them and learn for our own company as well how to avoid getting into those situations or how to get out of those situations. And a lot of those problems had to do with, for example, legal, so issues with permits, municipality, etc., or with staff members, but also with we did a lot of consultancy on construction. Not specifically hospitality construction only. So we did a lot, of course, in the hospitality construction sector because that takes experience in operating a restaurant, because it's different, of course, than how you set up any other type of commercial building. But in general, construction consultancy is what we were hired for many times. And also for marketing and automation processes and training and the concept development. But at a certain point, those requests became so many that it wasn't possible to just do it while helping people out. I had to have a team around me to assist with these cases
and commercialize it.
Indeed. So that's what we did this year. We set up a separate branch of the Ramzy Group called the Ramzy Group Consultancy, where we provide services such as negotiating for a lease agreement for entrepreneurs that want to lease a space, or for landlords that want to find a lessee. We also provide such services to draft up the rental agreement in a way that fully protects the party we are supporting, but also purchasing agreements and selling sales agreements for restaurants and buildings. We provide consultancy for HR and how to set up that department in a way that you're able to recruit the same way that we do, to get the same level of talent as we do. Marketing as well, and some things we do in-house, so we have a lot of expertise, of course, in the sense of hospitality operations, HR, legal, etc. Marketing is one of the things that for us also we are gaining more expertise in along we go. However, we are not the best experts there, so we work together with third parties that have been tested and vetted by us, and deliver a very well constructed product, consistent product for the right price, and we connect them with the client and coordinate the collaboration. So in that sense, anybody indeed looking to expand to the Netherlands, whether it's from Copenhagen, where we are now, looking to open up in the Netherlands, or local entrepreneurs, big or small, are able to contact us to assist in a wide range of inquiries.
Where should they contact you? Through your website? Or?
Yes, they can contact us through ramzygroup.com. Ramzy is RAMZY, group written in English.com.
Amazing. Ramez, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a
Truly
pleasure.
inspiring. And
thank you as well, gentlemen. It was a great conversation. Thank you for having me.